Welcome to another monthly portfolio update. If you are stopping by for the first time, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In this video, I will share with you how much I invested in my taxable account in June, how many shares I bought, and the value of my portfolio at the end of June. But as always, before I continue, a quick disclaimer. The information that I'm sharing is not financial advice. Before you invest in anything, please do your own research and make sure that you only invest in things that you understand. With that being said, I will dive right into my portfolio update. I will start with a quick recap of my May portfolio to show you the value of the portfolio and how many shares I had before the beginning of June. The total value of my portfolio at the end of May was $65,791.06. $65,787.71 was the market value of my investments, and $3.35 was a cash amount. At the end of May, my portfolio was up $13,921.01. This was plus 26.84%. These are my holdings: 2 Vanguard ETFs and 2 BlackRock ETFs. VCN is a Vanguard ETF that tracks the Canadian market. I had 98 shares of VCN at the end of May. VFV is a Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF. This is the Canadian version of VOO. I had 268 shares of VFV at the end of May. XEQT is a BlackRock ETF. This is an all-in-one equity ETF which holds Canadian equities, US equities, developed market equities outside of North America, and emerging market equities. If you want to hold a single equity ETF which is globally diversified, you might consider looking into XEQT. I had 453 shares of XEQT at the end of May. XUU is a BlackRock ETF that tracks the US total stock market. I had 249 shares of XUU at the end of May. I will now show you how much I invested in June and how many shares I bought. I bought 2 shares of VCN. The cost per share was $44.69. The total cost, $89.38. This is 12% of the amount that I invested in June. I bought 2 shares of VFV. The cost per share was $132.59. The total cost, $265.18. This is 36% of the amount that I invested in June. I bought 7 shares of XEQT. The cost per share was $30.64. The total cost, $214.50. This is 29% of the amount that I invested in June. I bought 3 shares of XUU. The cost per share was $54.82. The total cost, $164.46. And this is 22% of the amount that I invested in June. In total, I bought 14 shares, all the ETFs combined. And the total amount that I invested in June was $733.52. This is $133.98 more than the amount that I invested in May. As you can see, in May I invested $599.54, and in June, $733.52. The difference is $133.98. The total equity of my portfolio at the end of June was $68,303.35. $68,132.32 was the market value of my investments, and $171.03 was a cash amount. At the end of June, my portfolio was up $15,532.10. This was a plus 29.53%. As of June the 30th, I had 100 shares of VCN, 270 shares of VFV, 460 shares of XEQT, and 252 shares of XUU. All right, let's now take a look at some quick details about each of the positions. I will start with VCN. The closing market price on June the 30th was $44.49. The quantity of shares that I had, 100. The average price, $40.87. The book value, which is how much I have invested in VCN, was $4,087.39. The market value was $4,449. This was 6.51% of my portfolio. VCN was up $361.61, or 8.85%. Next, we have VFV. The closing market price on June 30th was $132.46. The quantity of shares that I had, 270. The average price, $97.57. The book value was $26,345.63. The market value was $35,764.20. This was 52.36% of my portfolio. VFV was up $9,418.57, or 35.75%. Then we have XEQT. The closing market price on June 30th was $30.64. The quantity of shares that I had, 460. The average price, $25.44. The book value was $11,703.51. And the market value was $14,094.40. This was 20.64% of my portfolio. XEQT was up to $2,390.89, or 20.43%. Finally, we have XUU. The closing market price on June 30th was $54.86. The quantity of shares that I had, 252. The average price, $41.52. The book value was $10,463.69. And the market value was $13,824.72. This was 20.24% of my portfolio. XUU was up of $3,361.03, or 32.12%. The stock market continued its positive streak in June to close out the first half of 2024. My portfolio went from 26.84% at the beginning of June to 29.53% at the end of June. This is an increase of 2.69%, and I invested $733.52 in June. As for the S&P 500 index, it returned 3.47% in June. This brings its year-to-date return to 14.48%, which is quite impressive. The stock market forecast for the next 6 months still looks bullish, and some analysts believe the S&P 500 has more room to advance for the remainder of the year. The US economy remains resilient, and it added 206,000 jobs in June, which were slightly above the 190,000 to 200,000 jobs that economists were forecasting. On top of that, corporate earnings are quite solid, and Wall Street forecasts call for steady earnings throughout the rest of 2024 and in 2025. Whether these forecasts will materialize along with a strong stock market in the second half of the year remains to be seen. No one can predict with certainty how the market will perform over the short term. As long-term investors, what we can do is to stay in the market, keep investing consistently, and when there's a bull market, we don't miss it. On the other hand, if the market declines, see it as an opportunity to buy more shares at a discount. The most important thing is to stay the course and focus on the long term instead of on short-term market fluctuations. Alright, feel free to leave a comment below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time with another update. Peace out.